敌军还有30秒到达战场，撵信他。 全军出击！
可以。再来座坟墓如何？ 回去，然后战斗，罪业的胜利。
炸飞他们！
记住的。
向你后退了的。
萦绕于你的不洁印记。上我了。起来，然后重。
手套炸飞他们！
纠缠，他将正义。
Whoopsies, I clicked the wrong thing and Baron's gone. Hello, I'm back. Looks like Weibo have done that thing where they lose games in new and creative ways. Ain't that incredible? I can turn this thing off now as well. Right, okay. Let me try and pick up the pieces, whatever the hell's happened here. Weibo. Had some good chances in the early into mid game, but I think Tien is an absolute shocker. Tien has really struggled. I think that Karis and Tane picking up pieces very well for WE. I think both of them have had fantastic games. Hung, much better game from him considering that he was subbed out, subbed back in. He's trying to go onto this Yukari's. Oh, if he carries both of them, that's huge. Gets onto Taeum, that's not bad. Vampire comes in with a decent hostile takeover, stops some of the damage coming through, and there's no cleanse on Light, and that means there's very little follow-up on the end of the side. Sho's left in a 1v1 with the Addy. Addy loses that very hard. And Breathe has also died. Breathe has also died. That should be the end of the game. W8 got a 24-minute soul. Weibo very much in free fall as an organization and as a team, and that should be the end of this game. Towers go down, WE pick up an early soul, pick up a win. Pick. The Akali has been solo kill menace onto the Orianna though. Orianna tends to out farm and then Akali makes up for it with side lane solo kills. Karras goes towards it. One of his most comfortable champions was playing it a lot when he first came into the LPL at the start of the year. WE, they have a triple ninja comp between Shen, Zed, Akali, and then for some reason Braum and Lucian are just also there.
Just putting this out there, Alex. We have got a legitimate professional game where one of our teams has locked Zed jungle, Akali mid, and Lucian bot. This is going to be absolute psychopathy in the mid game. Like, you're looking at Weibo Gaming, and they've gone towards team fight, right? They've got good burst, they've got good skirmishing, the front to back is pretty solid. And then you're looking at the other side, it's like, okay, I have a Shen and a Braum to empower one of my carries to just hand stiff.
However,
that's the plan. All inning, like, you've got some CC, but it's quite conditional. It's not easy to land. It's not just a Nautilus hook. And onto the Rift we go. Two very different drafts. There's the WE Skybox. Let's listen into the crowds. Well, there's your volume. Interesting they favor WE later, but I can sort of see it, right? The later it gets, the more problematic the Akali and Shen side lane kind of collapse becomes. That ability to pick off the immobility of this Orianna, this misfortune becomes more viable. But the mid game, where so many of our LPL games are decided right now, really is going to be in the hands of Weibo Gaming. If they turn up to an objective first and have the Leona and the Sion holding court in various locations and an Orianna shockwave on top of a Xin Zhao diving forward, Misfortune pressing, oh yeah, you can put a door up. Yeah, you can stick a Stand United shield on. But there's only so much value you are going to be able to get from that any given moment. Karras has been known to play a mean Akali game here or there. He's been a little bit streaky, but at his best, he's been quite good fun. It's one of his most comfortable champions, I think. It's one of his most comfortable ones. On the other side, though, I think Xiaohu in laning phase in Orianna has been very good. On his Orianna's been very good. You end up pulling my hair there. I'm so sorry.
Sam looked at me quite affronted because I made a wince of pain.
Yeah, no,
without realizing that Sam, while moving his chair, yanked my hair with it.
Oops.
Sorry. Of having long hair, I guess. But yeah, Xiaohu been very comfortable on that Orianna, and I think that we've seen him against the stuff like the Yone matchups. He's done well in the laning phase. Question is whether we can transfer that later.
But would he be as comfortable playing it if he had long hair and was sat next to someone who accidentally called it?
I'm just going to flip my hair over the other shoulder, just in case.
So sorry,
It's going away from Sam.
Yeah, probably wise. But clearly that can't be trusted.
While we're talking about this, the level 2 actually hit just by Vampire Taint. His Hung goes in and he'll die.
No, that's awful. He's flashed as well. That's first blood to Taeyun. Waiting for it, gets the auto. Another Winter Spite, lads. Eat your presents. Santa Braum is here to send you to... Well, maybe not, actually, because Light gets to walk away. I thought they were going to go way harder for that. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. Bit hypey on that one while he still has Flash and Barrier. However, Hung goes in with the E. He presses E, and immediately Taeyun and Vampire hit level 2 on that. You have to imagine that he just didn't realize the minion was dying. Massive mistake from Hung, a guy that was subbed in, subbed out of the roster. Started, of course, then Airher. Their LDL player came up. That's a good win, because before that, the lane was going really well for Light and Hung. It's a big breath of relief there for Taeyun and Vampire.
You eats a bit of damage there. Did, of course, get some Twilight Assault clocks off there. Those empowered autos right now does give Shen a lot of unexpected bursts. He's quite good into Sion with things like the Titanic Hydra. Often does have fairly good chunk early in particular.
In the early lane, he's fine. Problem is, before you get to your first item, your wave clear is shockingly lacking compared to Silence. One of the biggest reasons why Shen fell out of the meta, his wave clear became much less good. Hang on, a problem. Is there going to be a Q steal onto it? It will be!
No!
It's Tian. Hang on, buddy. You just saw the Q fly out of that brush. Sees Monkey in there too. Vampire, important takeaway. And you know what? This is some big tilt from Weibo. If there's anything we know about them, they are a tilting team. WE are in the mental driving seat.
They are. Tien's going to try and get across here and maybe fight over this. Of course, no smite currently for Monkey, so this could get a bit spicy here. I think it will likely get smoked by Tien, who's going to get the Wimbledon Buttoney proc off. Doesn't quite in time, actually. Monkey now in danger. Beginning to get some auto. Show can flip in. Flash on out from the side of Monkey. Can't quite punish any further. Off vision. Tien needs to be perhaps a little wary here. This could get spicy.
No, Monkey's just... Hang on. The thing is, Monkey just used his shadow. He can actually kill him. Tien needs to be really careful. We'll get away with it. I guess with no flash on Monkey, it becomes a little harder. And also with the ability to get a quick couple of hits, you can get the passive healing from the Shinzao. But that's the kind of HP where Zed, with the passive, can get a lot of unexpected burst onto light roaming towards topside now, actually, which is a little early for that to happen. They messed up in the 2v2. They want to escape it.
They do. Cube eats a little bit of a decimating smash. Lumberjacks are in here looking to bring down Cube. Torn onto Breathe, but it doesn't mean the light roaming up. They're actually looking for the dive. This is a very early roam and a bit of an unusual one. It's the AD carry on the warpath. Hex flash over the wall, about to come through from Hung, who's looking to hang Cube out to dry. Good Spirit's Refuge for a second or two, and those turret shots not quite gonna come through for the third, so Tien gets out alive. I worried there, not gonna lie.
So unexpected run towards the top side from from the perspective of WE. They didn't expect Light and Hung to both be there. Sadly, they can't get another kill back. They'll start up on the Dragon, but that's also a lot of time being used now from Monkey and Vampire to do so. Big thing about Zed, by the way, as long as a teammate can help you get an objective below half HP, you are red hot fast at taking anything on the map. Zed's passive does not have a cooldown on jungle camps. It does on champions, but it doesn't on anything else. So it can be really, really quick getting that 8% max health damage as magic damage onto the target once they get below half HP, and they'll take the first dragon.
Alright. So, we find ourselves in a very even early game state. Kill a piece, gold pretty much even. The difference here is going to be around those objectives. Slight lead, interestingly, over to the Shinzao. Of course, he did get that kill on the top side. That helps even up some of the earlier woes with things like Scuttle Crabs getting stolen away. The difference, of course, on the other side is this bot lane. The Lucian getting the early kill, getting the early reset force onto Misfortune has got them well ahead of curve. And Taeyun, for my money, has been WE's most consistent member. Maybe not his most talismanic. I'd say that's Monkey, who is perhaps more core to when they are winning games. But Taeyun has been so consistent.
You know what? I actually think Muktaean has been that talisman.
You think too?
The Kai'Sa, the
Very
Ezreal.
Very good. I'm not gonna lie, you're not wrong.
I just think Taeyun has been by far the best member on WE, both in consistency and everything else. Hang on, ult coming through. That's a very dead Ori.
Beautiful combo between the two assassins. And there's a death mark. And unfortunately for him, it's due.
But also, why is Xiaohu walking there? You were against a double assassin mid-jungle. They don't have CC. The only way you die is by walking up like that. Karis has now used that E on mid lane. Hung is not going to be able to do much with Tian so far away. WE just clip... my dude.
Karis, why go back? What was the thought process there, my guy? Has got flash. Is he going to need to burn it? Stand under the turret briefly and backs away. That was an unnecessary repress of the shuriken flip.
Because he could be taking this next wave on full HP and at least having Monkey coming over or something like that. But yeah, going back to the kill onto mid lane there, Xiaohu should know you are not going to be able to escape with your lack of mobility in Orianna. Double assassins running you down, but they need a lot of space to do so. Big mistake from Xiaohu. And it feels like it has been mistake after mistake from Weibo as a whole. Do have grub spawning in 10 seconds. Karis won't have ult, Monkey won't have ults for this, so I suppose that is something which Weibo can play around. They should be looking to get all 3 grubs.
That'll be the plan. Monkey on the reset, of course, has just burned his death mark, but it's not that long a cooldown on Zed, you've got to remember.
It's not that short either, but...
I say it's looking like it's coming off cooldown relatively shortly here. See exactly whether that'll be available for the Grubs fight, should there be one. I think with the lane swapped around, should be certainly playable here for both teams.
And we are looking for an entry. It's up in 10 seconds. Again, if Weibo had been on this on spawn, they would have been able to take a second one. Now the Zed ult's coming back up. Karis doesn't have his ult, though, importantly.
Go. Look to play from around. Decimating Smash does land onto the side of Vampire, who's just not that tanky. Stand United comes on through! Not here quite in time. Monkey into the backline. Does get the misfortune. Gets the shadow out! And now they can keep playing. TN going on forward. Flash on forward with the roar of the Slayer. Taken over the wall. Trying to buy some time. The health bar's not fantastic. The grub's aggroed onto Monkey. It's actually keeping quite low. The red buff healing. Not as good as he would like. Taeyun also low. Wind becomes just wide and Breathe. It's becoming a bit of a kingmaker here.
So it actually ends up being a 2-for-1. However, WWE lose a lot of HP, so they can't stick around for the grubs. Should still be all 3 grubs over to the side of Weibo, and honestly, that fight was much harder than it needed to be. As I was saying beforehand, Monkey didn't have the Zed ult for the spawn. Because Weibo delayed, they ended up giving a chance for Zed to get that ultimate back. It's still that rank 1. He didn't have any cooldown by the time he cast out the last time. It should have been a free take without those vampires not able to get a Q steal this time. So Weibo, the setup's not there. They're not cleanly executing. And to me, this is really seeming like panic. A bit of inconsistency that we've known from them an awful lot. But on the side of WE, they're punishing well. And particularly Taeyun dodging out of stuff like that Zenith Blade clutch here to make sure he can stay and fight the second part of it.
I think the only thing that's going to be very problematic is you can see Shen trying to come on forward. I think got interrupted there by the shockwave in the mini-map, so wasn't going to turn up anyway. Was that 4v4? Shield not quite enough to keep the Braum alive. Taeyun here with an important flash, because obviously Breathe flashing on forwards there. So it takes about half of Taeyun's HP bar with the Roar of the Slayer and the Decimating Smash being charged. Could have gotten very scary there for the Lucian, who is still now, though, 2-0-1. Looking pretty nasty in this game.
You see potentially how Monkey wants to play out these team fights later as well. Light sets up for the ultimate, he presses that ult, Monkey immediately dives in. And what we saw there was Weibo didn't realize that was going to happen, and they didn't have anything to get him off of the misfortune. Have to stand still trying to finish off that last kill, because Light's thought process is, I have to kill the Braum before the Shen comes in. And actually, he would have done that anyway, even if the Shockwave hadn't come on the other side. But Light needs to have someone peeling off that Zed as he goes in towards that misfortune.
Culling burned. That's half of Light's HP bar gone. Does have that Vamp Scepter in inventory, so can theoretically heal up a little bit here on the way. But again, priority being provided. The last time we saw Taeyun and Vampire playing the Lucian with the Nami, and Vampire getting caught out by some of the ward control issues. You can see there are a few good wards here from Weibo that they are currently scanning away. Dragons up. As they are wanting to play pretty heavily here, full control of the river. That was partly what that culling was used for. It got them an opportunity to get some vision down. Doesn't mean that ultimate isn't available right now for the Lucian. Light has managed to heal himself back up largely to full, but the kind of minor prize is a lot of vision control that Weibo Gaming are now looking at a very dark river.
Xiaohu has teleport, sticking in a side lane. You know, vaguely even with the Akali, who's gotten more involved in the plays, of course, as the Akali tends to do over the Orianna. When it gets a little bit more scrappy like this. Monkey farming well on the Zed, but actually not ahead of the Shinzao, which is often one of the big things about the Zed. You farm so quickly. Often you do just kind of overtake someone like that Shinzao.
Bit of a fight look in there as Hunger Tech flashed over the wall. Jin goes forward with the audacious charge. Soul of their land on 2, but the door is up.
It's not good,
He's
though.
going to be dead. It's not good enough because that bullet time actually managed to catch onto Monkey. Problematic.
When it's a door, not a door. When it's a jar. And that one was not covering his jungle. Vampire was stunned up, had to throw up that shield, but just didn't get the right positioning. And that's a real big worry. Light on the off angle, able to get huge damage. And now suddenly, no jungler, dragging over to Weibo.
It evens up that AD carry discrepancy. Gets the kill onto Monkey, who actually had a bit of a bounty on him. That's a big deal. Kara's still walking on over. Misses the Shuriken flip. That might have been a bit of threat otherwise.
Oh, I doubt he would have been going in 1v4 at that point. And speaking of that, Taeyun, walking in 1v2.
Why are you here? What was that thought process? Kara's still going in 1v2. Might be going in 1v4 shortly. Vampire's coming up. Need to look for the perfect execution. Missed the Shuriken flip as well. They're bringing in the Shen. Okay, we get the flash out for it at least, but that was an unfortunate series of events, to say the least. Lemony Snicket writing WE's storylines.
Oh dear, and this giving a free wave over towards Breathe on the top side as well. So it's dragging over to Weibo. It's a kill into Taeyun, who has been by far the most important member of WE across their journey through Group Ascend. Breathe will get himself another plate here too. Xiaohu will walk up. Remember that they have 3 grubs. They'll give some extra gold over towards that Orianna. With that plate, Weibo, from saying, okay, looking like a bit of panic, bit of desperation, WE, perhaps not as consistent as we would have thought before as well. We know their composition is hard to play. It's not really that WE a composition either. We can see the flaws in their execution too.
They should be able to clockwork wind up down this turret. Not really any way to stop this. Cube can go tap into 2 shadow dash forward perhaps and clear out the way, but won't happen. And that's just a horrible mess as we see Tien's going to go on forwards here. Monkey shadows away, and that door is not quite right. Monkey's also just off to the side, so I'm not sure if the door had been re-angled, it would change all that much. Block from every angle at once. Then Taeyun here ends up just walking into multiple people blind and dying a horrible death for it. And Light, from a player who had been chunked out a lot, under a lot of pressure this game, suddenly ends up 3-1.
Oh god, we're in Nirvana. Can you smell the teen spirit? Well, if anyone needs some bleach, let me know. That's an album by Nirvana, but people don't remember that because all they remember is Nevermind.
Yeah, well, look, something's in the way of us getting to that album. That's his gameplay in front of us. So
yeah, you know, we haven't really found the final form yet. This game's very much still in utero.
Yeah, well, look, you know, I think a lot of these teams are also fighting for fans, right? But they've got to find a way to unlock it, right? Get inside that heart-shaped box and find a way to really, really earn the fan love.
Honestly, yeah, these teams are a different breed. Breed is gonna get jumped on. Not exactly sure they can do. Look, this guy still has tabbies. He has flash and all. He is getting away from this, or rather, he should do.
Forced a flash. That's not bad, actually. It's not that much better than Monkey needs to
use his shadow. He doesn't have a shadow now.
Oh, no. Does have flash. Has the shadow. Can now look to flash if he needs to. Gets over the fat wall and does so.
Okay, well, Monkey did have that flash at the end of it. Monkey will get out safely.
That's unfortunate for him. Burns the flash. Ends up being effectively a flash for flash trade plus the ult off Breathe. Still a little bit awkward there. Not going to lie.
I'm actually wearing a Nirvana t-shirt, by the way. It's just on the hoodie. Yeah.
In the way. There's something in the way.
There's something in the way. There's a hoodie. Yeah. The fact that look, I'm quite a hang on problem. That's a great chunk on after the double up.
Oh, he should have been looking right. It's always about a girl, and there's two of them in the mid lane finding a nice chunk on in. Taeyun gonna turn it around with a culling though. Can't quite find absolutely everything he was looking for.
Dude, Taeyun, last couple of plays, almost becoming the man who solved the game. As he flashes backwards there, luckily. Vampire cancelled out the Misfortune ultimate, but they're losing control of mid lane. That's the big thing. When you start losing control of the mid section, when the bot lane's kind of moves the duo up towards that, you lose first move onto an objective like this.
Yeah, you'll never doubt it, of course. When you're right, you know you're right. Alex has got it. Bang on that. Harold going down about 5k HP. Look like WB want to come fight this, and again with the Eclipse on Monkey. Scary here theoretically. The vision control not fantastic though in WE. We've seen them get punished for that before.
They have no engage.
Shuriken chunk. And that they do have is some damage to work with. Oh! No engage! That's not bad, but the follow-up is just not there. The damage is pretty good though. The in comes Breathe looking for the other side of the Herald's going down. Tien down about half HP.
Yeah, Sion has that ultimate now, and where's your engage now? No flash on that. Karras goes in trying to make up the difference.
That's not bad. Gets one. That's the Orion. That perfect execution on the other side. Hung goes down as well, and they keep on playing. The engage is just death.
WE, even though they don't have engage, they have enough damage, and Weibo flub their own entry and will lose 3 in the fight, unexpectedly so.
I can't believe that we got sold up the river like that. Where there's no engage, then cute flash shots.
I was desperately trying to point at the screen midway through that play's Breed had the ultimate coming up midway through. That should have been the turning point for Weibo when they had that Sion ultimate, easy way into the fight. But as they were going towards it, Weibo just completely lose their mind on positioning. See that? Hang on a second, you might be able to jump towards Taeyun, who still doesn't have flash right now.
He's gonna die for this. Okay, well, that's the trade.
And Taeyun will go down. So that's Herald picked up by Taeyun. That's what he died for.
Yeah, he died for that, yeah.
Well, that's what I was just looking for. So I was looking down and saying, well, is it on the hotbar of Monkey? No, it wasn't. So Cube gets the quote-unquote engage here. Does get good damage, but it's, again, how do they actually start a fight? They don't have AoE CC besides that. The problem is now. You have Breathe up with his ultimate, but I think Xiaohu and Light choose very different angles. Light chooses to go back towards mid lane. Why is Light in mid lane? That's the biggest difference here, is the fact that Light says, okay, I don't want this fight. The rest of the team says, yes, I do.
And the other thing is obviously a lot of your engage is very melee focused. The Leona's going in, the Xin Zhao's going on, the Sion's going in, and people like Zed, people like Lucian, people like Akali, Shen, they're all very mobile. And if one or more of them can find their way into a backline, it can get very frustrating to keep your backline safe, particularly as some of these items get to come on forward. Karras looking for another flank angle. TM potentially in danger. Vampire also low. The bullet time will bring him low. To the backside though comes Q. Karras on the back end. Perfectly executes that Misfortune. Now needs to think about running away. Has the passive stack. There's the culling. Gets one back. The shockwave drags at least the Akali back towards a decimating smash.
Weibo will still lose 3 in the fight. They get the dragon at least. That's a bonus for them, but still really questioning the teamfight positioning of Weibo. Light choosing to flash over the wall instead of flashing towards, say, the solar flare, which actually might have been able to save you. Walk around that. Light feels like he's very disconnected from the team of player, which has often been the player kind of holding up the scaffolds of Weibo at different points. Not always the case, of course. I think you can't say that consistently about any member on this team. Sam punches the microphone for reasons beyond my knowledge.
Rage at this.
So Light thinks he has a bit of HP. Karis gets shunted away because the Stand United is onto him, and he flashes out of that shadow there. So okay, that one's actually relatively good. Then the question is, why is the solar flare in the way that it is? See that Hung and Light trying to achieve different things but executing a little bit differently. Suppose the dragon going over means that Weibo don't leave completely empty-handed. Where do you want me to move this mic?
No, that was, it was what happened.
Where do you want me to move this, Sam? Because you're just punching it midway through the cast.
So let me explain. What happened was I drank a bit of my coffee.
Yes.
And the lip seal wasn't perfect, and so there was a little line of coffee going down. I didn't want to drop onto my chair or my jeans, so I rushed to get a thumb to the drip of coffee. And in rushing so much, I punched the microphone.
In your anger, it seems you killed her.
Killed the microphone, yeah.
Where is Padme? Is she safe?
Is that what you call your microphone, Padme?
No, that's what Darth Vader says at the end of episode 3.
Of course. Sorry, I should have known.
You know,
that's very silly.
Yeah, it's an easy mistake to make. No, my microphone is actually not called Padme.
I plugged the microphones in.
Yeah, damn, gonna have to. Yeah, what you doing? I'm force choking my microphone. Why? Why have you done that? But by the way, some people might be wondering why the Sion has gone for Hollow Radiance first item, despite the fact that you're against the Shen in lane, which mainly does physical damage. Hollow Radiance has a much better HP scaling on the burn effect. It has something like a 4% max HP scaling or bonus HP scaling onto it, which means that you have better wave clear, you have better damage technically as well, whereas Sunfire Cape only has 1% scaling on it. While Sunfire is still a very good defensive item, it doesn't always give you the damage and wave clear if you're looking for that a little bit more. And of course, he's moving into an enemy spare now, which will, and alongside the skill caps, gives him enough armor anyway.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's a slightly more selfish / risky build, but I think with the fact that the Sion's already gotten a bit of a lead, has already gotten some defensive stats, could justify going to the Hollow Radiance just fine. And if he can get away with it, a lot of laners and a lot of champions will.
Atacant now up. Only a bit
what about
up
the Atacant? What if he can't do it?
Well, that's down then, Sam. And yeah. So if Atacant is up, Atacant is down. Yeah. If they're two opposites. It's like the two...
is up is up.
Hang on a second, Monkey...
I see what the idea was.
Going towards the Eclipse and the Yomis. Monkey will be a real threat towards Light. He's got enough gold, he's 1,000 gold up to be a threat. At least get half of the HP from the MF, and that can be really important because, let's be honest, the MF is already having a bit of a difficult time positioning, whether that is through miscommunication or W's good plays anyway. W do have 1,000 gold lead, and we'll have to track how well they can shut down that misfortune. As we said in the draft, if they don't cleanly get onto that carry, Sion will run this game.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, you've got lots of tools to get to the backline via mobility, like this. Xiao Hu forced to flash, Deathmark is down. Take that flash on the Orianna quite happily.
And they go with the Sion ult. The Sion ult could be really big here.
Solar Flare slow. Karis in danger. Shuriken flip. The Stand United comes on in. That drags the Akali to the backline. Brings the Chen in. Looking for damage onto Light. Karis lands the Shuriken flip. Misfortune is dead. Culling comes on down. They lose the Akali, but the damage back is going to get pretty good. Breathe getting low. Taking over the one. The Xiao Hu got no flash. Trying to get some help is on. Trying to keep his mid laner alive. Will not be able to do much more than trade his life, but does keep the Orianna vaguely alive. Teleport available for Xiao to come back in potentially. Flash back out. Breathe low, but not down. Still Tien can look to come back in. Vampire is low. Winter Spike goes white.
Once again, Breathe goes a little too far. As he tries to junk into the team, the Akali jumps over the shoulder, and the Sion is therefore not between the carries and the enemy players, which can threaten them. Breathe initially with a good play there after the fight was disengaged, but I think Karis jumping in with the Shen is becoming a big issue because Weibo don't know how to reposition. Watch this again, right? The Solar Flare comes through, Sion comes through as well, and look what Karis does. Dodges out, and then Breathe is not between Karis and, of course, the Shen teleporting in and the carries which are taking the damage. The front line has failed to do its job. Light dies before Breathe can get back in position, and Weibo as a whole end up getting punished for it. There's no bullet time in this fight at all.
You are very lucky that Xiao Hu doesn't die here as well. That Ardent Blaze was a pixel of claiming that kill. Ends up being a 2 for 2 in the end. Mid lane turret has now fallen. All the while, though, Dragon has spawned. And Waybo Gaming really want to pick this one up.
So there are no flashes on WE. That is crucial. There is a flash on Light. I don't think WE should actually be fighting for this. I think they should be waiting until their cooldowns come back up. They are at a summoner disadvantage. Breeze is in a decent position, whereas Light isn't there. But, I mean, all that Karras can jump onto right now is the front line. Now he's back with the team. He has flash. Karras doesn't remember. The Stand United will have to come in and be on good timing.
Breeze gonna face check it. There they go, looking for Karras. Just get slowed by that Roar of the Slayer. Decimating smash. Gonna land. Karras rocket belts away before he can get the full charge down.
So, Monkey now gonna get some poke out as well with that Eclipse and the Scorch War. Can do a little bit there. Dragon starts it up. Remember, W don't really have the summoners to fight this. They need to be very careful. And Breed's in a good position here to hold up the front line.
His best, down to half HP. Karras again on the flank, but the vision control is not great for WE on the other side of the river where they'd like to be playing around. Down to 2k HP. Karras still looking for that flank. Hun doing his best to body block. Nice steal from Monkey, who does get that Q smite down. Taeyun in danger, will go down in trade. They get the Shadow Dash taunt though, looking to turn it around. The bullet time is good this time. Vampire puts the door, it's been too little too late. The TB comes in onto Monkey, but the Stand United will not keep the Zed alive. Cube taunts over the wall, and they go 3 for 1. Dragon is secure, but it was a messy fight.
I don't even think Monkey did that with the passive. Typically, that's how a Zed would go in, the shadow in to get that down. Karras might even feel like he can get himself mid lane turret now if WE are not wave clearing effectively. Okay, should be able to get here now. Shockwave to clear that wave just to make sure that Karras doesn't look for a jump over the wave too. Potentially could have gone for the solo kill there onto Shahu even under the turret. Like we'll get bot lane out of turret. But this was a chance for soul point for Waybo while they had summoner advantage. No flash on Knight, not on Knight, on Karras. It's a K starting mid laner. We're playing a Kali. Sometimes we do get confused for that. We'll cross the Shen as well. So what the heck happens here? Monkey, I mean, does he get an auto attack on target? No, it's just a smite. It's just a smite. So missing the smite just Tien that. Goes straight on Tien. I think he's fine trading 1 for 1 here. Like, I mean, if the AD carries down, and especially when it's one as dangerous in the split fights as the Lucian, I think that's big value.
Monkey realizing no way out, tried to go forward and get something, had the Stand United shield come on through, but just a little too little, a little too late. And the gold lead is actually there, though, now for Waybo Gaming, and that's great news for them. Having that soul point denied, though, is still going to be tricky. Also note Xiaohu's build this game. He's gone towards that Luden Storm Surge we saw him do before, and in fairness, in this game, sometimes you just need to pop one of those carries jumping at your head.
So the difficulty there is you can get one shot very easily by any of the damaging members of WE, which is why he's going towards the Zhonya's next. So that is an important note. If you get to good shockwave though onto Zed, Akali, Lucian, they die. That is important. You do need to do good damage here. What that means is that you don't have to get good consistent DPS, which is quite hard to do against a quintuple dash team. Every single member of WE has a mobility spell. I mean, Zed technically has blinks, but whatever.
They get to move around a lot, yes.
They have high mobility. So as long as you get the single rotation on target with this build, you're still getting value.
That's a card now a consideration. Part of the issue WE ran into last time around the Dragon was the lack of vision control. It does feel like Waybo Gaming, if they're in the river first, it's quite hard to dislodge them, especially if they're sat there defending their wards.
So real credit to WE for playing out this composition. I think Karras in particular has been doing very well on the Akali to deliver the Shen into the backline, the Kinku combo. You Stand United on top of the perfect execution, really good way to just kind of submarine your way into the backline. However, it's really hard to play around such long cooldowns in such important fights because you know you need to find quite slim angles in every fight to walk away with them. Very hard to do that when you've got, like with both summoners available. Potentially see if Hun can get him sort. I actually wonder if he should go towards the Mikhails, later, just to be able to get out of that taunt. Light maybe goes for a QSS, but I feel like that's the one way you lose this game, is if Light is consistently shut down.
I half wonder if we see the Zhonyas on the Misfortune. We saw it very occasionally if
it goes late game enough, maybe.
Because I'm looking at this now, there's now a Serpent's Fang in the inventory for Monkey. He's got 3 items on this Zed, by the way. Will absolutely be eviscerating anyone he gets a full combo on. There's not a lot here that anyone not named Sion can really do about it. Maybe the Leona, obviously, with the shield bash can hold them in place for a second or two, but it's not that easy either. Does mean that things like the Bloodthirsty shield, not as defensive as they would have been pre that item, for sure.
Well, all this is happening too. Just keep in mind how strong this Sion is getting. 1.5k up, 2 items. WE don't have a good way to kill Sion. Not really. You have full burst on your mid jungle, which is about killing the AD carry in the mid lane. Sure, I understand that. the AD carry, not gone towards the Lord Dominant regards, again going for burst. WE have made it very clear we want to ignore the Scion, kill the backline, and then we'll figure out how to deal with the Scion after in like a 4v1 or whatever. If Breathe can position himself between the damaging members and his own carries, I think Weibo win almost any fight.
It's good timing on that as well, because if you turn your eyes, dear viewers, to the top right of your screens, you will see 43 seconds and counting until the Infernal Dragon is spawning. That will be sole point again, but this time for either team. But Atakan and Baron are up on the other side of the map. Could be some interesting decision-making to come in the next few moments.
Atakan's been started up. Weibo might choose to say, look, we haven't got control over bot side. We will force you into a top side vision instead. W walking up the river, clearing vision, but that means that Weibo know where they are.
Down to 7,000, they know what's happening now. In comes the teleport from that Scion. Karis looking for the flank for about a foot. Oh, he nails it again! It's Taeyu with the culling!
Monkey flashed in for the smite to help the culling kill it, but the engage comes after.
Vampire likely will die for this. That's okay in some ways. One for the Atakan's not bad, but Baron and Infernal Dragon still available.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's a cool moment because it's a steal. Atakan doesn't win you games anymore, really, though. If this leads to a Baron and the Dragon, it's not worth. Monkey used his flash. You won't have that as a flash ult on towards light, and he doesn't have currently the smite available either. There's a ward in the pit. Monkey does have a shadow, does have an ult to get in as well, can use that for vision. Karis needs to pull off a miracle with the Stand United. Wait, why is Breeze not there? Where is Breeze?
Oh, the backside Monkey is low. He's caught in the pit. All the while, Karis trying to buy some time. Lasagna is propped for a moment or two. Shadow dash across, trying to give Karis his base. Can't quite do it. The flash for the taunt will finally bring the Orianna down. But they're going to have to resend. That's still Baron to Weibo Gaming.
Why is Breathe in mid lane while the team is on Baron? Breathe is the most important member on this map. He is the one true frontliner that can genuinely turn this game. They will have the damage. No, they do. They have them set light here too. Monkey is still around though. Breathe has ult again.
Look to get into the backline. There's a hung. Jump over the wall with that time for that blast cone, buy some time, but they've just blown up Tien. Keep on playing, look for the passive of Braum, onto Breeze, they've killed off the Leona as well. Monkey continues to auto. Now Breeze in that 1v3 we were talking about. The culling comes on through and the giant beast from Noxus is finally felled.
Monkey gets a huge combo, but Taeyu is the slippery eel which slips away. WE turn what should have been a guaranteed losing situation into a huge fight. The Baron and likely the Dragon afterwards. Weibo Gaming once again throwing such an advantageous scenario.
Well, very low, but Cube gets TP in and they get it. They can reset and be quite happy with their games. Incredible defense from WE.
Really have to question what Breathe has been doing, though, in the last few minutes. In this initial... On the Atakan, sure, that's whatever. It's a great smite from Monkey, who goes for the shadow backwards so he can flash and get the steal and immediately W out. It's very mechanically well played there. You leave the shadow behind you to make sure you have an exit route. After this point, Breathe should not be on midway. The double assassins need to be afraid of the Scion. They do not need to be scared of anyone else. And that's a big difference there. Xiaohu does actually get a very good Zhonya's here. It makes this much more playable. Light even doesn't get hit by this. Breeze, though, should have been here at the start. Big mistake from the front liner. If he's not there, it makes a huge difference. And then another big issue after this, too, is Breeze still has his ultimate now to come back off the cooldown, but he doesn't end up using it in a good way. I don't know whether he runs out of mana, actually, towards different parts of this fight. I think he actually does.
He does.
If he has the ultimate, this is a straight kill. Breeze even misusing his basic mana manipulation in this fight. Has a Q at the end of it. You notice on the bottom left and throughout most of that play, he had his ultimate available. Huge mistake from the top laner at the beginning and the end of this play.
I'd also give a bit of a shout out there in a way I wasn't expecting to Monkey as well. He resets as the Baron is going down, and with Shadows and Ghostblade is so fast off the reset with Home Guards, he's there again in 15 seconds. That's very quick out of the base, and it's now level 17 Z, by the way. Exactly like this, Lucian or the Sakali are miles behind either, and sure, Breathe, you can try and play greedy, save that mid lane tier 1, keep Taeyu out of that fight, but you weren't there to play the block that you needed to.
Man, Weibo are one of very few teams in the world which could lose a game like this. We have a couple of them in this region. Maybe IG can throw the name into the hat. But well, I actually have to say, IG are actually quite clutch in the late game. They will get better as the game goes on. It's off in the early game. Here comes the ult through from the Scion. Gets the no damage down, doesn't even get the slow. Breathe, bad accuracy there.
The Soul Furnace procs the only damage he really gets, and that's about it. Thinking of the inventory of Taeyu now as well, he's going towards that Lord Dominic's far, so he'll be doing a lot of damage now. Dashes away from the Decimating Smash. Monkey also just looking for that poke at this point. It's going to stick onto a lot of these very squishy members.
Quite worried about the way that Light and Hung are playing as well. There are some guaranteed kind of CC combos onto the Zed. you can have, if Zed ults the Misfortune, you walk into melee range of the Leona, which means the Zed can get instantly queued by the Leona. That's the game pattern. It's a decent trade here. The Shadow's down. Doesn't have flash either.
Does manage to get on out for a moment, but he's just dead to TN, like just about survives. Breathe now looking to get onto Taeyun, who's dashed early, but managed to dodge away for a second. But there's the Solar Flare continuing to dash away, though. Manages to get out all the while, though. Look at the Shen is getting played in the mid lane. Flash from Breathe, running onto Taeyun, who continues to dodge away the slow from the Winter's Bite. Keeps him alive. Vampire sidesteps, that wind becomes lightning. And they manage to kill off Monkey, but lose 2 turrets for it.
Yeah, Taeyun using the Ardent Blaze move speed there to escape. Very important that he ends up getting out alive. If he's dead, I think Weibo have such an extra lease on life on the map. Again, I don't want to be too overly critical because W are playing out the skirmishes well in their own way. I guess they lose Monkey, so it's still negative play, but Taeyun particularly playing well there. However, he shouldn't make it out there. He had no flash, he'd use his E, and Hung completely airballs the ultimate. If you get a stun there, instantly dead, you don't escape that. So, another misexecution from Weibo, and the more I look at this gameplay from game after game in these early games to going towards now what is the late game, panic is one of the most obvious emotions I can see on Weibo in terms of their gameplay. Panic, some desperation, seem to be snatching and grabbing, and I think their execution is falling because of it.
That it is. Dragons in 2 minutes. Soul point for WE. Look at those items, because the thing is right now, we've gotten to the point where any one of Zed, Lucian, and Akali can murderize the Orianna or the Misfortune mid-fight. And we've seen exactly how it's supposed to work. Is if Weibo Gaming are pulling the trigger, it's leaving significant amounts of the defensive pieces away from the Ori, away from the Misfortune. And there are so many champions who can take that window from a random angle to get onto those, and they'll win the 1v1s, they'll win the 1v2s. And that's really problematic here in these fights. And I don't think Weibo have really done the gaming out of how these fights are supposed to look into a comp that is a bit unusual. We've seen IG running these kinds of comps recently as well.
Yes, I think that's a way to put it. It's the gaming out of it. They should know that they have the CC in the front line to deal with assassins from WE. But when they engage, they lose their heads a little bit and they think, oh, I've got the CC. Okay, well, there's another guy coming in with a Shen into your backline. I don't think they figured that out just yet. Tian, Breathe, Hung, it is on them really to communicate effectively what they're looking for and the CC that they have left to peel for their carries. You have 2 immobile carries in the backline. If carries flies onto them with an ult from Cube, they die very, very easily. You must have something left for them flying into the backline.
I think the frustration here at Weibo is understandable. However, I also want to give serious credit to WE, who have actually played out this game with a very mechanically intensive composition to execute with really quite well. There's been fantastic plays from pretty much everyone. It's not been the cleanest, but actually you've seen how this comp is supposed to work and how dangerous it can be if you're going to draft immobile backline carries. You can consistently take them out of plays.
30 seconds till Dragon now. Bree's going to walk over Vision. Has himself 3.5 items. He is still very, very tanky. He's 1,000 gold down now onto the Shen, but still the Scion is pretty nasty to deal with. Taeyun does have anti-tank items now. We'll see what the damage check's like. It's not very good for the side of WE. Bree's still very, very tanky.
It's pretty silly right now. He's got how many stacks? 1,600 odd. That's quite a lot of shield to work with. Of course, the issue is they're not winning the side lanes either into the Akali or the Shen. And they are now saying, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Karras gets the bot wave shot and then pulls off to look for the flank as he has done the entire time.
Cube is still staying in top side. Remember that it would be Infernal Soul for WE. Cube can still ult into the way. Karras uses his E and was seen there from Xiaohu.
Culling's just burned as well. Didn't really get that much value. Shadow's down from Monkey as well. I think they might just give this one up. Hung goes on in. Dash away from Taylor to the backline goes Karras. Dragon secured. Looking to get onto Light nonetheless. Especially with the Stand United on top. Xiaohu goes golden. Shadow's out looking to slash around a little bit. Monkey gets over the wall onto Light. Can't quite get the kill. But he can with the Shadow Knife. Gets another. Both lane carries die to the Zeds. The Unseen Blade is the deadliest. Finds a few more. Now Breathe. And Leona still going to be in danger. A teleport out will get them to safety for the side of Breathe, but a triple to the Zed. Immaculate team fighting.
Weibo lose their heads as Monkey dashes around them time after time. So many shadows allowing him to dip in and out of the fight. 10, 3, and 6. The Zed jungle looking mighty stylish.
Well, you have to ask exactly what WE can do if they're going to be playing comps like this. It's a lot of fun. The Shadow Assassin in the jungle. Arrival in both the top and the mid. It's a fun composition. It's a wild execution that they have to go through to get here, but it is a bloodbath that WIN will secure regardless. 2-0 versus Weibo Gaming, and they'll even up their scoreline.
Weibo will get leapfrogged by WE and fall down to 7th place as WE claim themselves a 6th place finish in Group Ascend. First, then it's a problem because then Akali gets to really pounce on you. Alrighty. I'm glad to see that while I left to go get a piece of bread, no one died. Thank you so much for the resub, by the way, Foxy. I appreciate it. Monsters, if you're still around too, I did see that earlier. Sorry for not calling it out. Let's get into the gyros. Ah, we've just had them. My bad. Didn't have my headphones on. Oopsies. Oh, didn't be using the fake Rari skin. Going for Grass, by the way. Grass very lane dominant versus the thingy. Big Kali. Good Q level 1 from 1XM. Still stood in that brush. Come on, folks. You should know there's a ward in that. Severe Q. Quite a long cooldown early on. Oh, the Guardian didn't proc earlier. Interesting. Gonna lose any XP for this? Maybe a little. Good E from PP God. Yeah, you don't get to lane very effectively as this duo versus the the Varus Renata. They're trying to get some poke down with a headbutt. Doesn't really work that well, of course. Headbutt? Oh no, the handshake lands. Heal immediately to make sure it gets full value before the Varus E lands, and would have applied the anti-heal. Sassam getting bullied out in this lane. Ahri is very good versus melee mid laners. Which is why even when we saw the Galio lanes into the Ahri, I always felt Ahri's fine with that. You can dominate the lane very well. And that's enough for the Ahri, because if you get a winning lane with a jungler that can leverage that early lane pressure well, Vi, Xin Zhao, Pantheon, stuff that jumps forwards and needs a little bit of backup, Ahri can win a game just off of that. We've seen that from our best Ahri players in the world. Ooh, very close to that double Q again. Sivir tends to win lanes if she hits double Qs. She does tend to. Very strong ability. Double E from PP God. Of course, gives you that shield. Damage isn't bad for the early levels too. Very good for the early levels. Lane advantages are much easier for NIP to gain. Yeah, they are. They are. Ahri in the mid lane and then Varus in the bot lane are always very, very powerful in the right matchups. Worth noting is the on-hit Varus, by the way, not the poke. Interested to see whether Leaf can actually get to stand and fight. I guess with the Renata it helps a lot. And getting the extra attack speed from the bailout definitely helps. You might die and have to bail out is the problem. And in Vi versus Wukong, I prefer Vi unless it's Kanavi on Wukong. I mean, Kanavi's Wukong is incredibly good. That's a very good shout out. Levi's Wukong. Now that is a good. That's a good pull. Yeah, Levi's an incredible Wukong. In fact, even when Levi was playing badly, Wukong was his best champion. It made him look like he was 2020 Levi all over again. Are you by chance an Ahri main, Nymaera? I couldn't tell. Well, honestly, who knows at this point? I haven't spoken about it in at least a few minutes. Jankos was actually a very good Wukong too. His attempts to carry heretics were often through Wukong. Cole for both AD carries ports up. Anything interesting happening on the map? Scuttle's traded already. Dragon spawning now. Huangran was spotted heading over towards that. Jankos pretty good at every champ except Nidalee. He's not a great Karthus player, I'll have you know. His Karthus was a little bit sus last time it was meta. Doomby didn't have the champ. Yeah, see, that's where you end up getting bad trades against you now. As it stands, Doomby probably wants to recall anyway. I don't love the fact that he's going towards the rower build again, but I guess with Grasp it helps you double dip on HP. See what Doomby wants to do with that. You think I'm a Fiddlesticks main? How could you tell? You are very intelligent. I do a little bit of pig squealing every now and then. Be bad for my voice though. Okay, Sasab has level 6 heading down. Bit dangerous to stick on the dragon there. Because the thing about taking something like a dragon as Vi, you need to use your abilities onto it. It's in the house. Can't push it too hard. I've got games to cast. Doomby, buddy, I guess because he sees the wave there, feels like he's okay, but he does need to be a little bit careful using the charm easily like that. Do you sometimes or all time wish players would just have fun and do crazy random picks? New worlds, maybe finally a Teemo game. Can't be that much of a throw. Your team has to be practiced with them. You have to bet that you are more practiced than the enemy team is at like figuring out the weaknesses of it, and sometimes they can be very hard. Yeah, there are definitely times where people just don't pick the correct champions, I suppose, or picking too standard stuff and losing value from it. So eventually the dragon goes down. Xiao Huangren does level 6. Aki still needs another camp to go towards that. One of the problems of taking dragon is it takes a long time. She needs to lose a bit of XP. Huh? Nah, go on and ruin your voice. I'll cast the LEC. Thanks. I know you got me covered. Sets up, heading towards Doomby. Goes forward to E, gets the Q on target. Charm through the wave. Of course, this is where the Catalyst actually gets a lot of value. Using that Grasp as well. Getting the permanent HP up bonus. Level 7 hit by both of them. One of the big things about Catalyst now is that it's just a very good laning item. You can actually just sit on the Catalyst and then skip over towards your next item. It's fine. Because you gain 350 HP for it. You don't gain any extra HP from buying Rod of Ages on completion now. You have to wait until the stacks come in. Low-key, Fiddle has some of the best champion lines in the game. Some of the deep cuts with specific champions. Yes, him and Swain have good ones with that. Because Swain knows way too much. I like how Surprise Party Fiddlesticks is done by the same voice actor as well. Just very big range. A second, solo kill. Jumping back, using the exhaust. Ghost pops on the other side. There is a equalizer thrown down. So ultimate for ultimate. Summoner for summoner. Aki's up here with flash and ult. Xiao Huangren's not too far away. Oh, he can't teleport back in. Grub started. So dragon over to NIP earlier. With Ahri not in lane, quite hard to get much out of this. Doomby's gone back for a Dark Soul first. Nice, nice. If I had to pick my world's favorite at this moment, I mean, it would have to be Genji, right? Genji are utterly insane. Chovy is in inhuman form once again, much like MSI last year. Ooh, hang on a second. Oh, no. The last grub did go over towards Aki. It's just that when the notification comes up, it goes to the team with two or more of them. I just typically thought it was, oh, the last one killed is the champion portrait, the copper. Yeah, so Aki did get. I was wondering if somehow the Clo managed to steal the last grub. I was mistaken. But yeah, I think that Chovy is by far the best player in the world, and no one's even close. I think he's arguably even better than he was in spring season last year. Now, he got better at MSI last year again, which is insane. I think MSI last year for Chovy was the highest that any player has ever been above, like, second place in their role at an international end for many, many years. All goes into the toy, doesn't have the ghost, doesn't have the ultimate, but Xiao Huangren is here as well. Has the Cyclone, flashes forward, and for some reason, chooses to leave it there. Teleport comes back in. Xiao Huangren, the monkey, will leave without a flash. Hey, Sam, how's it going?
What's back on bearing sandwiches?
Dankeschön. Is it for ketchup? Time for me to peel off the tomato from it, but it is very nice. Yeah. no, it's fine. I don't like raw tomato. The texture does it in for me. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate it a lot. Sam was gone on his escapades. He's gone down scene a little bit. Doomby heading back towards mid lane. Setup using the E again to just get him towards Q range. Gets hit by that charm. But Setup is making sure that Doomby has to choose between minions and hitting him. Feather does ultimate. Easy dive coming through here. Doesn't have himself that much defense off with now. Feather will shrug off the last tower shot. And that'll be the end of that. Dead solo kill. Another E lands onto Doomby. Ultimate under turret. One of the better things you can do. But again, doesn't actually have that much damage. He's gone for Catalyst and he's gone for Grass. Not the most damage there. So it's going to be ult down from Doomby. Setup doing quite well to trade up on him. Currently up about 15 CS actually. So Doomby not getting the most of that laning phase. Plate's taken on top side with the 2 grubs as well. 1xN now ahead of Leave. So TT getting a lot out of this game so far. You know, NIP. They would really like to be ahead in mid and bot lane. They're not really ahead in either, are they? 1xN now stopped on the recall. Handshake needs to be blocked here. Does he have a spell? Shield. Cleanses early. Is there anything else to be thrown in there? No. So, cleanse blown from 1xN. Late reset. Can he potentially clear out that way? Feather now back around the back lane here. Leave would have to flash. Does! Tries to play the Matador. Uses the ultimate. He stood on the equalizer still, though. So burns both the summoners and dies anyway. NIP, this is not the early game you want at all. Oof. Onions are in sandwiches. Depends what kind of onions they are, you know? Sometimes they're okay. Other times they are less good. Ooh, this actually... Did I get lucky? Oh, I didn't get lucky. There is a tomato in here. Rip. Okay, let's pin peeled off. Where's the other one? Be gone, tomato. Alright, so if you hear eating sounds... I'm not eating. That's... What do you mean? That's not what I'm doing. Definitely not doing that. I'm very professional, I'll have you know. Onions are in sandwiches. Oh, and shit. Onions are okay. I like raw red onions. Cooked ones are okay on hot dogs, I guess. Oh, Leave, you don't have summoners. Oya has overheated, and Leave will need a bailout very, very quickly. He'll come through. Bailout was on there, wasn't even needed. Oya's the one that's out of position. Second dragon will go to NIP. Kill went over to PP actually. Is there any extra rotations around the map? Frost map coming in from TT. Makes you wonder why Hoyo was positioned so heavily up there if they wanted to play on top side instead. I guess he was trying to play that mind game, right? That he shouldn't be there, so he might be able to get something unexpected. First tower likely to go down top side. Ward was out of the brush and didn't spot Feather in it. Oh, that ward baits him in. Didn't spot Feather kick in that brush and solo kill. He'll get himself an exhaust. It's not bad, actually. The tower shot will take one down. In fact, will be another one afterwards. Setup does avoid the second tower shot. Just about lives, but solo kill. Gets a cheeky extra kill there and a flash out of Setup. Solo kill overperforming there in the dive. Oh, yeah. Has the equalizer for the next wave. And he'll use it. So, no dive opportunity now. Aki backs off. Damn, this is really good for capture. Especially when it's warm. Zero has developed so much. He was actually very good before he joined GMG. Then there was a question of could he bring that up towards... Oh wait, they did spot him? My guy. You did spot him then? Are you kidding me? Did you just think he'd recall? That's very risky solo kill. It's punted into the wall, spreads out the CC. I guess Setup not being in range hurts. Maybe he should have flashed. Maybe Setup should have flashed to get in range a little earlier. Has to flash out of tower instead. Gonna be ulting topside. Didn't quite see why he popped in the first place. He's going for the nerfed Rod of Ages build. Dragging up in 3 minutes, Herald up in 20. Piece of strength already owned by TC. I'm quite worried for NIP here. They should have had early advantages. They haven't pulled off the Vi-Ahri combo yet. Actually, I've barely seen Vi and Ahri on the same screen. What the hell? Wait, Chinese cooking means bad gameplay? So if you see Chinese posts that say 10 chefs, it means they're all implying 10 players sucks. That's hilarious. So, can I say this? There we go. Okay, whatever. Herald's going down. Talk to you about something funny afterwards. DMB, thing over. Doesn't have ultimate, and misses the charm on a stationary target. Teleport comes in. Aki no flash now, but that is an equally bad play. The setup goes onto Divide. Actually, no. Color that one. A massive misread by me. Setup gets a clean assassination, even though he teleports into a Varus ultimate. TT walk away with HP at bar advantage and a kill on top of jungler down. Get the Herald too. So they get Herald, they get kill. NIP taking a fight without the Ahri ultimate. Charm misses on that target too. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. It's an Alistair, which adds even more questions into it. NIP really struggling to find ways to play out this game. But yeah, so I had a chance to do some content with some GX players recently. It was very funny. Basically, well, look, the video will be out at some point, so I won't spoil it. But the topic of cooking came up. So what was being said in chat for those of you in Onivia's chat or on YouTube? Basically, Ferguson, who's very tapped into the Chinese community, was saying that basically cooking is seen as like bad League of Legends play. So if you say 10 chefs in the Chinese community, they mean that all the players are bad, basically, or like 10 chefs. Whereas in the West, it'd be like, oh, they're cooking. One of the really funny things in this content was basically someone saying that, look, someone said that their hobby was cooking. He said, oh, you got to be bad at League of Legends though, because if you've got time to cook, you don't have time to grind League. Which honestly was so funny, and also kind of correct in that context. It's very funny stuff. It was really fun getting to hang out with the GX players, actually. They're not players which I've spent that much time around before. Yeah, good bunch to talk to. It was really fun. I also love cooking, but I guess I don't play League anymore, so that's why. Dragon up in 10 seconds. NIP don't have Vial just yet. They do have the Ahri ultimate. Herald in mid lane. I mean, NIP are grouping, but do they know how to fight this? Teleport comes through onto the Herald itself, actually, to bring player in towards mid lane. Harley coming up towards the mid lane now, driving in. Normally not a great idea to drive that, but I guess it does get the guaranteed play. You have the Wukong clone to get a good chunk onto Ahri as well on the other side of that. Doomby not able to get a charm on him under turret. Quite hard to with the clone anyway. Vial now back up. You have hostile takeover, but no flash to reposition it or to force it forward. Feather has ult, has flash. I mean, they're positioning really quite aggressively here. Solo Kill trying to get within range of the fight ahead, but the handshake's now down. Set up for Solo Kill. 1v1ing for the moment. That's a flash for a triple knocker! Flow like a feather, sting like a bee! Feather! Insane combo to start off the fight to immediately die. Thunder Talk! Slick fight from them. I don't know what NIP thought they were doing, trying to face check into an area of the map they didn't have vision onto. They didn't get to pull off that Vi ultimate. No one stopped the Alistair ultimate, the combo midway through it. Feels like NIP kind of realized that they want to contest, but they don't know how to. They wanted to contest the Herald, but they got stuck in the choke point. They couldn't hit the right targets. They wanted to contest the Dragon. They couldn't hold mid lane. They couldn't take the vision back in that bot side river. Who's face checking for this team? No one, really. No one can face check. And now, particularly with the Vi being so far down in gold, compared to their opposing number, I don't think Aki can do that. PP God can give you a bailout, but that means you actually have to get a kill back too. Not really had a fight where Doomby or Leaf could do anything important. Now got the point where Akali is very, very fed. No, a couple of Dark Seal stacks. Heading towards 2 items. Eddie carries fed too. 1xN on the Sivir. Look, if 1xN was on a hyper carry, I'm afraid for the enemy team. Like, he's good on stuff like Ezreal, Lucian, Varus, don't get me wrong. But really, when 1xN was on a hyper carry... Oh, what a combo. What a combo. I mean, Feather take about. That was insane. Really fun combo. But then again, also PP God walked up, allowed the headbutt range, couldn't cancel out with a handshake. Leads his team into a very, very bad scenario. They clumped up a little too far. 5,000 gold lead, well, 4,500 gold lead for TT. Atacon's available. How do NIP win a fight? What does a one fight look for NIP? Probably looks like a good Viari combo with an Varus arrow over the top, though it is on hit, but it's still worth noting. How do you do that when TT is so far ahead of the game, when you have an Akali who's very fed, ultra mobile? Sivir's quite hard to get onto the spell shield bit. It is possible. Maybe the Rumble out of position. Atacon's going to go down here. Aki looking for a steal, maybe, but punted away by Feather. Won't get close towards the pit. Right now, Varusol hits onto the Wukong. He won't be able to get himself a clean combo, and that's a part of it gone. Good Varusol. Feather will die too, so 2 for none. NIP, can they get anything more off of this now? I don't think they get anything more from the fight. Saki could flash ult, look for the smite onto the spell shield. Ah, he gets it. Smites away the spell shield. That's why Civ is bad into Vi. Well played by Aki. That's the combo they've wanted. Charm lands under tower 2. And BB God will go towards the bailout, but he won't be able to get it because the kill is already gone. So suddenly, that's 4 kills. Teleport into the mid lane to save that turret. Solo kill go towards setup. Good play from NIP. Managed to find a good set of split play. Setup will try and kill the turret. Turret does so. Hands another E and gets the kill on the way out. Setup slick moves on the Akali. 5 for 1. 5 for 2 rather, all things said and done. After people did die under the turret. Starts with a great Varus ult. If Lee doesn't land that Varus ult, the fight's over. Guess the clone was used earlier. Then Aki goes forwards and smites the spell shield off. Very, very tight on the timing. Always a mind game between Vi and Sivir. Manages to get that smite in the right point. He doesn't manage to do that. There's a flash afterwards. Sivir makes it out. So yes, important to know, folks. Yeah, Vi, pretty good into Sivir. This is why in Shouts, like, you can go back to that timestamp. I'm sometimes clever. I talked about how, can be a problem, actually, for... Yeah, Sivir's good into the Varus, can avoid his E or his Q in lane with that, and has good wave clear to contest push. Not great into Vi later on. Xiaohuang grab. Over the back. Spots that Aki. Out safe? Question mark? Yes, he is. 30 seconds till Dragon. Not to be confused with 30 seconds to Mars. Gonna be at 2 items, but still down 1.5k. Has a Rod of Ages to make up the level deficit against Sasab. Who's basically a full level up, because the Rod of Ages typically gives you that extra one, right? Well, we've seen the blueprint for NIP. Somehow get a Vi combo onto the Sivir, but also stop the engage from Xiao Huangren at the same time. Very hard to do both those things. You probably have to do it around an objective while someone is dealing with Baron or an Atakan. And I think you need to be very careful about the setup. Now, solo kill going into setup. Just got solo kill by him. Jumps forward. Trying to use that hallowed mist to get some good value down. Gets half the HP of the Akali. Gets all 3 spots of it. And the Dragon is still secured by TT. They get a kill onto the jungler too. And now suddenly they don't have a way onto the Sivir who can pop that ultimate and help the rest of the team either run into or out of the plate. Cyclone comes through. Ends up being 1 for none plus the Dragon. TT get everything. Don't be jumping forwards. Not able to land that charm. Dragon to TT. Kill to TT. And IP leave with nothing. Feather great frontlining again. Ooh. Aki misses the Q smite onto the Sivir. The Q flash, rather. Feather very nearly gets himself a flash knock-up again. Can't quite do it this time. So both jungle and support, the flash engages of the Alistar and the Vi, fail their intended target. One of them dies, the other one doesn't, though. So we forget about the Alistar a little bit. Xiao Huangren, 2,000 gold up on his opposing number. Leave quite fed now, though, actually. Leave at 3, 1, and 2, 1,000 gold up. Heading towards Wit's End as a third item. Also with the Rumble and the Akali. Not the best ability to auto-attack in Akali, of course. Goes into the Shroud and you can't auto-attack. Clueless weird lore question. What is driving Vi during her ult towards the enemy? I thought that she takes a couple of steps sometimes. Ooh, gets a good combo in the side lane. This is what they want to play for a bit, but a flash into the Shroud is not enough to save him, because Aki flashes for the kill. Clutch smart flash afterwards from Aki. Allows him to break open the side lane turret. Satab will lose his Dark Seal stacks, lose his flash too. Suddenly, Aki gets some golden pocket. Dermby gets some golden pocket from the tower team. However, now out of position for the Baron on the top side of the map. Aki's going to walk up, keep spamming that Q to travel across the map. Set up down for another 20 seconds. Still a bit of an issue. Good equalizer to get the slow onto 2. Not much beyond that point. And Xiao Huangren failed his clone over the wall. Solo kill now on the flank. Poyet dodges out on the ultimate. And Leave doesn't spot the Wukong over the wall. Doesn't expect him there. Well, I guess no one would have. Would have thought he would have cloned over it. Well, he missed that one last time and has another one left and clones straight into a charm and into the hostile takeover. Xiao Huangren goes down. Xiao Huangren, not a good fight from the very, very fed Monkey King from Thunder Talk. I'm very surprised that Xiao Huangren did not manage to get anything done in that fight. That looked like it was such a sitting play for them. That hop over the wall. Failed twice. Second to... Oh, I mean, let's just watch what happens to Xiao Huangren. So he fails the first clone over the wall. Oops. Yeah, that one sucks. And then he's waiting for it to come back up. Jumps onto solo kill. Gets over the wall, I guess, with the E at this point. Flashes away because he's gone too deep. And then he's... Ooh, that's a good clump up there. We can do something about that. Is spotted. Leave jumps away from the clump. Goes straight into a charm. And, Xiao Huangren dies. Fun. There is a death on the bot side. Solo kill. It's got a 1v2 kill somehow. We'll go down to Xiao Huangren, though. Oh, yep. Solo kill both off the map. Both of them have teleport, and they'll both be up in about 40 seconds, which will be ready just in time for the back end of the setup for the dragon. Won't be spawned just as they come alive. Dermby used his ultimate for something. Use that for the bot side kill as well. I must admit, I was watching the replay. Looked away, came back to life. Someone was dead, and it was quite hard to pick up the pieces after that, really. Dragon down 30 seconds. Top lane is up in 20. So, solo kill walks into Hoya. Well, Hoya walks into solo kill. And don't think solo kill realized there was a monkey in the other brush. Both top laners having their moment now in this game, with Hoya earlier trying this out on Leaves Varus to walk into an unexpected 1v2. Baron started up. 2-man as it currently stands. Dermby walks over. Has Seekers now. Gold is very even. Given that TT were very far ahead at some point, that is a worry for them. A lot of that gold came from the Atakan fight at around the 4 kills there. Losing some towers afterwards too in some various other moments. Leaf has flash, has no ghost coming out, but it is a lower cooldown spell. Leaf has forever been... Well, not forever been. On this team recently, it's been a very good late game damage source. Say that he has occasionally jumped into death. Charm hits. Not that much damage behind it though. Dermby not going for a burst build. slower burn build instead. Dragon taken. Soul point for NIP, Mountain Soul. Of course on the table now for them next time it comes back up. TT not finding a good cross map, not threatening the Baron, not pushing out side lanes. Not doing that much with their game. All this is happening, worth noting. You said, hey, leave, very good late game damage source. 1xN, absolutely the same on the other side. He has been a very good hyper carry player for TT. Xiao Huanggren gets ulted into handshake, into ultimate, into death, question mark. There we go. Last excessive force will come through from Aki. Take down the Wukong. Baron may be available now with no smite on the table for TT. Do they contest anyway? I would suggest they should do. Now, they are going to be sat in that pit. There's no Vi ultimate. Yeah, with no Vi ultimate, you try and fight with the Sivir. That's the play. You have an equalizer. Try and do the best you can with it. It's going down to half HP. You need to get in now. Where's that Vi ultimate? Where's the Sivir ultimate? Not a bad equalizer. Setup can try and get himself into the play. Doomby doesn't have anything to get over the pit. The hostile takeover is okay. The spell shield gets onto that hostile takeover, which means that 1xN can keep free firing. Triple kill, quadra kill. It's a Penson so close for 1xN. Just needs one last hit. I don't think he'll get it. But the quadra kill is more than enough. 1xN goes absolutely man mode on the Sivir late game. If it weren't for that hallowed mist, that would have been a pentakill. 1xN, we were saying, hey, there's no Vi ultimate. Now's the time to fight. That's exactly what they did. No Vial. Nothing stopping 1xN on the hyper carry we have praised him for in metas past. Goes absolutely Super Saiyan. Tone through this turret now too. Suddenly, Baron buff denied from NIP. No one left alive to use it now. 2 towers going down. What was even in gold lead goes towards a 3k lead very quickly for TT. What was 1,000 gold lead for Leave is now 2,000 gold lead to 1xN. Guess where that gold lead's come from, folks? 1xN does not need to worry about the Vi ultimate. Pops his ultimate. Equalizer is good too. Gets a spell shield onto the hostile takeover, and it allows him to just free hit. Completely free hit. The ricochets are absolutely godlike. The Apticon giving the pop of damage too. Chains 3 kills to each other. Flashes over, and it's only the Hallowed Mist which keeps solo kill from being the 5th in a row for 1xN. But the damage is done. An 8,000 damage team fight in about, 20 seconds, if that. 4 items going on 5 now for 1xN alongside the boots. Almost at that full build. Leave. Managed to get something back somewhere because he's only down... Well, he's cut the gold lead in by about 500 onto 4 items himself. Will be about half an item now behind the Sivir. Quite hard to leverage that when you're out of actual slots in your inventory. Oh boy, NIP, they need to have something in the pocket to make sure that 1xN doesn't just shred them. Late game Sivir is disgustingly strong. Disgustingly strong. Has the anti-heal too, nastily. Stops Leave getting some of that lifesteal through. Sundered Sky from Aki, the 1,000 cuts from Solo kills Gwen. Minute and a half now till Dragon. It is soul point for NIP. We're heading into true late game now. So it typically happens around this time, right? When you're fighting for the soul, people getting towards full builds. So that's only 180 carry that's like that. Everyone else on 3 items. Setab, staying on top side for now, has teleport. This game really is about which AD carry gets to free fire, I think. If you can shut down 180 carry, I think the DPS drop is so harsh that you can't win the fight. Both these AD carries are so nasty. The on-hit Varus with a Renata, very hard to take out in some circumstances, but as we've seen, if you don't have Vi immediately jumping onto 1xN, that's a bigger problem. Ugly 1xN behind Feather right now. Teleport coming through. Do they pop the Sivir ultimate? Do they feel like they need to? 1xN flashed onto, and that's what you need to be worried about. There comes the Vi ultimate, and they've won the mind game. Aki takes away that character. Leave must die on the other side. You must take care of the other AD carry. That is the goal, and both will die. Setup does get a good damage down. Another Q comes through. It's decent damage, but he's now off the table as well. How much roasting can Rubble do at the back end of this? As a Wukong as well, with both AD carries down. They are the remaining DPS. There's a G8, but I don't think it'll turn the play. Charm, decent, but it's going to be almost everyone down. Quadra kill to the Rumble. A second quadra kill for a second member of Thunder Talk. Rumble roasts the team, and NIP will lose this game, try as they might to take down the AD carry first and roll away with the rest of it. Aki, it's not a bad attempt onto the Civ here, but you don't have that consistent damage coming out of the Ahri, who's so far behind, and the Gwen could barely do that as well. Super Minions should even... Hang on a second, with the death timers coming through, it's not the end of the game. Toya, not enough base tower damage to end the game, but it will be a Nexus turret down. I guess a reset of the map. Barret Dragon is still up. NIP. Can they angle towards a Mountain Soul? Starts with a pick onto Derby. That's all backwards, but Aki, great combo to one extent, who should not be within flash Q range of the Vi. It's a problem that had to stand backwards, fully CC'd, uses the cleanse, but it's not nearly enough. So Xiao Huangren realizes, okay, I have to kill this Varus. Varus must die. Everyone realizes that. Setup gives up his life for that attempt too. Maybe could have gotten some more damage onto other members, but realizes Varus is the priority target. And back towards the Baron. Death Brush spotted out. Setup on the flank. Equalizer's not bad, you know. Decent damage coming through from Setup, and Varus is down. The Varus is down. The Civ roll keeps running on 1xN. This time gets to free fire, and it does not look nearly as close. 1xN will die, but the damage was done already. A couple of ricochets. Varus doing very little on the other side. Xiao Huangren not able to catch out Doonby. Aki is alive somehow. Same can't be said for 3 other members of his team TT. They'll march towards the mid lane. They have super minions. Doonby and Aki will have to try and find a way to save the game, as Aki is recall is cancelled. Feather has a celestial position, but I don't think he wins the 1v1. Just looking to stop the recalls now, as the rest of his members go towards the base. Doonby has a little bit of wave clear. It won't be enough here, though. Tower getting focused down Doonby. All they have to do is ignore him. Why not kill him too? Overheats. Taken down. NIP. They brought it to late game, but they couldn't bring it to a finish. TT win the first game. Now seeing that as a quad melee team, does Feather go towards the Braum? Yes, he does. So now you have a very anti-melee composition. God, these are all awesome anti-melee champions, and NIP just blocked in quad melee. Quad melee and a Jhin. The Jhin, the longest range champion on the field by quite a long range now at this point. How to say TT's jungler's name? Xiao Huangren. Xiao Huangren. Or Huangren. Xiao Huangren. Xiao Huangren? Might not be a Gren, might be Ren. Xiao Huangren. But I'm bad at pronouncing it. Sorry about that. I should be better at pronouncing that. Appreciate the question anyway. So, TT, better front to back. Very good anti-melee. I don't think their lanes are bad either. I think TT have crushed this draft, folks. I think they have crushed it. Well, I'm trying to see if they can do that in the game itself. That's more important, of course. Okay. Yeah, so... Yeah, I came from the movie Minions. Are you kidding? So his name is Minion. I knew it meant Minion, but I didn't realize it was that. That's hilarious, though. All right, let's get into the Gyres. No. So I knew that it meant minions. I know you've tried to tell me that before, but I thought you meant minions as in League of Legends minion, because it means little people or whatever. Yeah, Robert, I did know that. I mean, back last year, we had that too. Basically, we had a lot of betting chat in here, because basically last year, this channel was... Well, look, what LPL English is doing now, we were doing before them last year. Now, of course, that channel was doing it many years ago, in like 2013, like 12 years ago. But we were doing it in this recent era longer than anyone else. We set up like the unofficial stream. We were doing this basically. So we got a lot of the viewers last year. So we would be getting 1.5k, 2,000. We got up to 3,000 at one point on Twitch, and now we're down to like 200 viewers, which is, you know, still good for considering that we're competing a lot. But it's just not the viewers that we had last year. However, a lot of those viewers were embedded onto betting websites, so it meant that the chat got very bad for a while. Most of us aren't here for the LPL. We're here for you guys. Thank you. That's a very kind thing to say. I want people to be here for the LPL too, though, because I like the LPL, and I hope you do too. So, level 1. Nautilus Hook, very nasty at level 1. Braum really needs level 2 to reposition for the... stand behind me a lot of the time. Jump forward onto a minion, and then chase down for the passive. Do you not stream every LPL match? We do almost everything. We miss 1 or 2 days, but that depends on burnout. We've got 2 people doing this rather than a full team of like a dozen people or whatever. Hey, Amber, good to see you. The other Amber. 20. Yeah, we do almost everything, but also we stream 150 hours a month. Good stun there for Setup. Wins the reaction check. Hops out of the Q burst as well, so it doesn't take the damage from that. Aki now going back around the back and mid lane. Doing beat. Gets stunned again. This is with the E, actually. Might end up being impactful. No, not at all. I'm completely lying to you. Kill goes over to Aki. Takes the first blood. Setup way overpushed. Way overpushed. NIP last game were looking for lane leads, which they didn't find. Perhaps they can do that this game. It was very difficult for them last time. Solo kill. Getting control of that wave early, as you often do, as the Yorick versus the Scion. Well, no, it doesn't always happen early into the game. But, yeah, eventually Scion will just be wave clearing versus the Yorick. Not really able to push up beyond tab, because that Dark Procession is really annoying. Now, initially I thought, hey, TT going towards the Neferi instead of the Pantheon would have been an issue for them, but they've ended up having a very good draft against the quadruple melee comp of NIP. How did the series this morning go? Weibo looked very bad. Tien looked very bad. But W had a very fun composition in Game 2 where they had a Kali, Zed jungle, and Shen tops. They had the triple ninja comp, which is very funny. Setup still ahead in mid lane. A little bit. Extra minions being put over means that it's not that much, really. Of course, he has the assists, so... not really that impactful, is it? Sion coming back out onto the map. Early swaps. It's beyond 3 minutes now, so you can swap over wherever. We're about to hit level 6. Of course, Sion much better on a 1v2 than the Yorick is. You often do want to swap the Sion and trust that the Sion will pick up more farm and experience than the Yorick. And also just not be there to bully out the Yorick as well. -1. Sucks. Gets in range for the XP, but not the cannon itself. And then you miss auto attacks that minion, so he loses 2 there. Sucks. Is this cannon gonna die on top side? There we go. No! He misses that too! Should have used the QE. So, unironically, TT missing... I say unironically, but no, seriously. I'll say it that way. TT end up losing 2 cannon minions for that rotation. Because they lost the one in bot lane and in top lane. Both of them being, I guess at this point in the game, 70 gold or so. Losing about 140 gold on the swap. It's annoying. They do get the XP, but don't want to miss those cannons too much. Setup. Gets a shove across there. Derby could be within W range now. Chooses not to walk up. Steals the Weaver's Wall. Reminder that Derby doesn't really have that good ults to steal. You can steal the Brawl Mob. That's actually surprisingly good damage with the AP build. Show off one run. Takes the Dragon on bot side. First objective for them of the game. TT tried to get that 2v1 versus the Yorick. Not able to do so. So they'll use that teleport to go towards bot side, and now TT have themselves a global advantage. Derby having the Talia ultimate stolen does give them something to work around with that. So them not having mana to use his could be an issue for him. Ah yes, the time-honored tradition of walking out of lane, grabbing a quick snack from the river, and then going elsewhere. One XN on the Zyra. Again, a good sign for TT. When TT look good is when 1XN is on hyper carries. I think he is a very talented hyper carry player. Not that I don't like his other picks. I think they're good, but yes. Oh shit! Thank you, Influenia. It's very kind of you. Very kind of you. I only watch your stream for LPL. When you weren't on for a couple of days, I didn't watch it at all. Damn. Hey, well, I'm glad you enjoy it here. Of course, there are other streams that do LPL, and I hope that people find ways to enjoy them too if we're not online. Because, hey, I do want people to care about the LPL, but yes, I'm also glad that you enjoy things here. All the same. All the same has been a big phrase of ours recently. It just covers a lot of situations. Sats, I'm going to get jumped on, overpushed again, gets hit by that E. Potential problem, gets shoved away. Aki could technically ult into mid lane, does have flash too. Sats with a good chunk there, though. Might be safe. Is anyone around the area? Brom's coming up towards mid lane. Should be safe now. Even if Pantheon jumped in, that would be a one-way trip at that point. Thank you, Time Lord, for kind of. Herald spawning. Not Herald, the other thing. Grub's way too early for Herald. When am I talking about that? Grub spawning. TT pushing mid lane. Setup not getting caught on that last wave. Very important. If he had done, that would have been NIP with the advantage going towards the Grubs. That's why Aki was hanging around there. Teleport now coming in from Silas. Don't really want to leave Yorick alone on the other side of the map. You do have Smite to secure the first one. The second one, rather. Not going to be used there. All comes through from Aki. 1xm. Where's the feather ball going to come back? That's pretty big. Everyone's in the line right now. It's a good double shot back. Where are the feathers? Already used beforehand, I suppose. Xiaohuangren flashes away. So certainly 1-for-1. 1-for-none. Xiaohuangren gets the reset. Can do it. Get another kill back. It's going to be so close. Does get it. But I think that'll be the end of his life at the cost of his flash too. NIP once again struggling to get anything done at these objective fights. And Hoya actually getting a good ult onto solo kill from the looks of the cooldowns. Maybe even looking for a solo kill onto the player named that. Where's his next Q? The Maiden doing a good amount of work, and the flash away from the Q might just see Hoya to safety. Has a flash, needs to not get hit by the Q. Solo kill thinks he can't walk up for it, so what that ends up being is a flash for none. Solo kill, healing up with what I presume to be a biscuit with the amount of healing that was there. Hoya, does he have enough mana to do anything here? Wants to kill the Maiden if possible. It's one decimating smash. No mana now left on either of these. So the Maiden will die eventually. There we go. Hoya kills it with a Balmy Cinder. Oh, I'm so sorry. There was, Okay, let's have a look-see. Aki jumped into the backline, no follow-up. I guess 1xn uses the feather pullback a little early, because it's like, okay, where are the feather pullback? I just mistimed the cooldowns there. Very quick reset for the Neferi. Giving early kills to the Neferi, or early kill gold to the Neferi is bad. I guess they could both go to the Slayer, so it could have been worse there. Should I be losing his flash team? No, fantastic. Did no one get the third grub? That's a... No, TT got it. TT got it. I guess it was after the play. Sorry, Zerif, I did realize there was a component. I was just lost in the actual, draft and game and stuff like that. The coolest dog on the coolest dog here isn't even on the screen. Xiaohuangren's pretty good, but who needs an Ethereal when you've got a Grumpy Zerif in chat? That's the dog I want in stream. Solo kill. Gets hit by those double Qs. I have no idea why that was automotive ammo. It's probably a reference which I don't get. Okay. Good trade on the side lane there. Hoya, as we said before, actually has some pretty decent games on the Scion. He's typically been a better tank top laner. Chat is a reflection of the streamer. It often is, or at least it's a reflection of what the streamer allows, because over time, then, you start to foster some behavior or not. It tends to change things. Dimby was trying to recall. Prevented from doing so. Hoya does have teleport and ultimate, so that recall stop on Dimby, who doesn't have a global, does end up being quite impactful here. Dragon started. No feathers getting stacked up on it for a feather pool. I was pretty good at objecting, securing with that. Empowered Q. Empowered Q. Do you want to go towards that? The W is definitely leave. It's charged up. Doesn't get it. So 2 dragons over to TT. And the Rift is... Infernal. Infernal Soul, always a nice one to get. Not as game-breaking as Hex Tech, but you always take them if you can. Yeah, we actually did. No, the term was allowed in one. You have no idea why that came through. Also now coming through from Silas, I presume. Yeah, using it as a semi-global to reset into lane. Because he doesn't have the teleport right now. More fool goes towards Leave, who does have flash and heal. Flashes out, gets the W root. The bullet suckers through. I don't think you kill this guy. So it is going to be heal down from Leave, who is running the heal, as we said before. I don't see AD carries running a lot of heals anymore, it's worth noting. Xiao Huangra, I'm going to go towards this. Aki does have ultimate to reposition if he wants to. He's on vision. Hoya will spot him out. Doesn't have the ultimate to get out of a play, worth noting. Would really quite like to get towards this bot side turret. Not able to do so. Doombi getting some good value off of the plates here. Is there a potential of a Talia ultimate? No, because he can't teleport down. What tools do they have available? No teleport stats. Hoya has his to make plays. We have the Grand Starfall. I think when it gets to this point of the game, you need to be very hyper aware of what cooldowns are available, because we've got double globals, potential, well, I say double globals. We have Pantheon ult, Talia ult, Sion ult, and then stolen Talia and Sion ult to support, which can help you run across the map. Wait, really? Damn, crazy. Seraph's almost up from setup. Worth noting, we haven't got the nerfed Seraphs on the patch just yet. That comes on patch 10. Flick back onto the Maiden. To kill that thing for it to really be worthwhile, though. If you get towards base, it will go to max HP again, I'm pretty sure. Hang on, PP got spotted out here. Xiao Huangra even in gold with Aki so far. Hang on, how's that happen? Oh, I guess it's the kill gold as opposed to 3 assists. If those double kills had gone towards Xiao Huangra earlier, I think NIP would be in a bit more trouble. Yes, I don't mind the kills onto the Talia instead, but Neferi with kills are a different beast entirely. Doombi having a better game this time, I suppose. He struggled in the last one on the R. He didn't really get that many plays done. Throwing out side lanes quite well. Hoya feels like he is maybe the strongest person on the map, though, at points, though. His side laning has been pretty good, despite the fact that he's in the counter matchup versus solo kill. He's gone for the Swifty boots, by the way. Wants the ability to outstep the... well, to chase down, outstep the Roar of the Slayer, and shrug off the Slayer if it does happen. Feather jumps backwards. By the way, there's a fun thing you can do with the Braum shield, by the way. If you put your shield up in between you and Silas's target, if Silas presses R to steal an ultimate, you'll instead hit the Braum shield and try and steal Braum's ultimate. If you can't steal Braum's ult, it will just not give you an ult. Setup takes turret to top side. Already have the feats of strength from that first turret. Harold now started up, as they're on that top side of the map anyway. Doombi will get himself bot turret. That's not going to be contested. Well, it does have his ultimate to respond. It'll only take him about half a map, though, or between, you know, one lane to another lane. It won't take you from bot lane to top river, really. Oh, hang on a second. Doombi just used all of his mobility, by the way. Full charge Q because of that. There's the Roar of the Slayer coming through. Where's that going to come? That slow could be very important. Missteps a little bit on that side of the map. That's a grasp proc, forces Doombi out of lane. That'll be it. Now, Doombi doesn't have teleport. Can they stop his recall anyway? Where's the Q into the brush? That's important. That's really important. Doombi not being able to recall means that bot lane turret will fall for free. Should still be able to clear out this turret top side, clear out this wave top side from Seta. But now with him resetting late, Hoya should be able to take bot side. There's no one in mid lane to defend this either, with Doombi would have potentially liked to have reset, go towards that mid lane turret take. One more auto attack will do it. Xiao Huangra, as that W stays safe. Mid lane turret's taken. Bot lane turret will be taken. Setup's trading completely fine on top side. Might not want to tank the Maiden itself there, buddy. Bot lane turret falls, and this is because Doombi is reset late because he gets cancelled once by Hoya and once by Feather. Steals the Sion ultimate, can respond quickly. Dragon's now started. TT, much better map play. Much better understanding of resets. Much better understanding of where people can come across the map. Setup coming out of base. Yorick 2. Yorick has teleport. Setup doesn't, but has ultimates. Ultimate from Sion. That Sion ultimate can be an engaged tool. It's quite again, it's not the best Silas engaged tool, but it can be fine. Where's the Talia ult? I actually think you should be using that to separate off the rest of the team. It's not a bad ultimate coming through from Sion, actually. The Stolen Sion one. Aki uses the backline, and maybe that one was a bit deep, though. Featherpool comes back. Dragon is taken, very luckily, to the side of NIP, but will they die afterwards? Solo kill, the first one getting taken down. And it will end up being 2 kills in the fight for the Dragon, claimed by TT. They'll be a little annoyed not to get themselves an early soul point, but getting themselves the gold off of that is no small prize anyway. Even then, they're going to get themselves a recall stop onto PP God, and I think that was less impactful than last time. Pretty much everything that's happened in the last 2 minutes or so has been because of that recall stop onto DNB, who was late out of bot side. Please be careful with stuff like that. TT still keeping up the pressure, pushing in both mid lane and bot lane. They have the 2 grubs. They have extra damage towards their sides. No mites, of course. They need all 3 for that. Aki's ultimates have not been great on this Pantheon. The one outground grubs was poor, bluntly. So what happens here? Sion heads into the backline. It's a double ultimate, so the ultimate does actually hit onto 1x in terms of the damage. Aki has to flash out of a Sion Q that's channeled up onto it, so Hoya very well played there. Remember we were criticizing Breathe in his Sion game? Hang on, fighting bot side, the Slayer ult was used there. Seth taking a good turret, taking a good trade back though. Has the Seraph shield, so Doomby uses the Slayer ultimate, doesn't get anything after that. Setup will recall, get himself second item, head back out onto the map. Has teleport soon. So what happened here? Steals the ultimate, uses that to go forwards presumably. Then connects with the E2 afterwards. Oh, goes through the, he goes through the minefield on the ultimate. So he dashes forwards on the Talir ultimate, gets hit by the Unraveled Earth. Aki Engage is legit 3 screens away from his team every game. It is known, whether it's on Vi or Maokai. It can be a very deep diver. Sometimes it works out fantastically. The reason why it worked on OMG is that everyone was so ridiculously aggressive. Everyone kind of knew what they were in for. Feather, you might have to flash over the wall, and does so. Might have actually been safe, you know, given that Aki and people didn't have flash. Could have potentially positioned them on the other side of the Talia wall, which was cast to potentially see him to safety. No global now for setup. Every time Aki plays, goes in, Dio plays Holy Diver. Good song. I'm also a big fan of the Heaven and Hell album by Black Sabbath with Dio as vocalist. It's a good one. Aki, maybe a Die Young enjoyer as well from that album. NIP is garbage. NIP have struggled to be on the same page, and they play quite hard to play drafts. I think that having 4 melees in this kind of comp is very difficult. It is already pretty terrifying. Going for Bramble Westernize some of that. Hang on a second. Aki doesn't have the doesn't have flash. Used his E already. That's a problem. It's not a bad Yorick E to try and block off that passage, but it's not nearly quick enough, and it's not nearly enough to save Aki's life. Aki doesn't even have to die this time to get punished very heavily. Atkan is up and available. There's no smite. Doomby will be pushing in towards bot lane in a turret, trying to get himself an individual gold lead. But TT don't really care about this one, I suppose. Would rather take the quick Atakan recall and go about their merry way. Teleport in from Hoya towards the bot side of the map to stop the tower going down. There's an Atakan and a kill onto Aki for about half the HP of the bot lane in the turret, which is not that great a deal for them. Abel was also a psycho. I miss it. Abel was fantastic. I missed that OMG roster. Now, obviously, Cream has gone on to better things. Shanji has been benched for a while now. He's not been playing for an IP for the last half a split. Solar Kill doesn't have flash, by the way. Blast gun over the wall. That's a problem. That's not a bad Dark Procession. The Braum passive doesn't proc. They will buy the teleport. Get out of this. Okay. Soul Silence ult is okay. Feather's fairly tanky as far as things go. Doomby comes in, though. That'll be 1 for none. Xiao Huangren is out of the play. Doomby stole the Sion ult yet again. Can be pretty good there. Dodges out of that E. Is there anything else happening across the map? Sion's pushing bot side. Surprised that TT couldn't stand and fight harder there, actually. I was wondering whether Hoya could have roamed... Wow, it's quite a long way for him to ult across the map, isn't it? That's why it's a semi-global, not a full global. And besides, he wants to go down towards his bot side, take this turret. He actually might be able to stick and kill us, even though Doomby can come in afterwards. Oh, Solar Kill teleport. Okay, now that's a bit more of a problem. Yeah, that one's actually a bit more problematic. We'll take most of that turret. Surprised here that NIP are ahead on the map. I thought that they were going to be a little bit behind because they were fighting from their own side of the jungle, committing the teleport towards top side. I guess it what? Yeah, but get themselves a defense of that bot lane. Oh, no, they don't defend that bot lane, sorry. Oh, I'm missing everything now. But they do get themselves that top lane out of turret. They do get a response to that bot lane inner. Big issue that Hoya is 1.5k ahead of solo kill. I think Hoya has been my player of the game so far. I think he's been fantastic. Good in the team fights. Ahead in a very difficult matchup. Has himself 2.5 going on 3 items. Was thinking about going towards the Giant Spell. Instead goes towards the upgraded boots for the Chainlace Crushers. Brawl Mode, that's a lot of damage. Let's get blocked a little bit. Now he doesn't have that though. Where's the Scion coming? Coming in just as a supporting factor. Using that lower cooldown just to make sure he could have been present if he went any further. Doomby on his 10th player anniversary. Trying his best to get ahead of the game. Solo kill. Does he have flash up yet again? No, yes he does, but he might be forced to use it. Dark Procession used to keep the dog in the kennel. Good flick back. One of the reasons why Pantheon's not great into Talia. Guess that stun. Not sure that's really where you want to be though. Aki, another failed ultimate, and now suddenly Setab can chase forward instead. Does he have another E? He might need it. Goes down. Does Xiao Huangren have himself a reset on the ultimate? No, I think he was just out of time. Good damage there from the bleed and the dogs. It's not just ghouls flying one side, it's the mini pack mates as well. I'll try and kill out that maiden. Long cooldown to buy if you can get it. Would it be a 1-for-1 overall? Kill goes to Setup, I suppose. Not over towards Xiao Huangren, who is still 1.5k ahead. Imagine if those 6 assists had gone into kills instead. That would be a very, very fed dog. Still pretty fed as it is. 2 items, and Aki, another failed ultimate from the Pantheon. Scion is a very loud lad. I really fear for NIP as soon as Hoya comes into these fights. Leave does have a Lord Dominus Regards when Collector into LDR. Does the double crit pen items, 1 flat pen, 1%. Collector does fall off as the game goes on, and he's not going to feel that happy about playing against the Scion. Dimby stacking up that Conqueror. Losing the trade as it happens right now. There is Grasp on Hoya and Unending Despair, so he takes much better long trades than he would do otherwise now, because that continued healing and damage from the Unending Despair. Hoya can recall. Wonder if he's got himself another item yet. He's on components right now. Quite hard for him to go towards the 3rd completed item. Decent flick back, actually. Peepgod does have flash. Is he going to be able to use it? No. Completely locked out, CC'd up, and put into the grey screen. Baron now started with less engage options available for NIP. What ultimates does Doomby have available to him? He's going towards late game, of course, but really depends what champions he has available to steal from. Hoya could teleport back up towards the top side of the map. Objective bounties today are available from NIP. They're very far behind, given that there's a soul point and a bunch of towers available. There is one of those objective bounties claimed. Aki doesn't have flash, and that's a brawl passive onto him. That is a problem. Aki caught out again. One last auto attack from Talia will activate the Brawn passive. While there was an objective bounty, they lose their jungler. Baron has been taken. Now some speedy recalls needed from NIP to get back into position to protect their side of the map. I don't get what's happened to NIP. They lock in this quadruple melee composition, which is hard to play. And you can justify locking that in if you're good at what you're doing. NIP have not been that good at what they've been doing, really. The ultimates coming through from the Pantheon, not good. No real big pick attempts from PP God. No combination plays from Aki and PP God. Solo kill's not ahead of his lane. Leaves basically had nothing to do in this game, and now 1xN is 5-0-3. Jesus Christ, that's a fed. Zai, who's very good against melee targets. Doomby's been fine. Doomby's trying to make some plays here and there. Silas has been very comfortable for him and his team. But NIP as a whole just leaving a lot to be desired with very difficult to play compositions. I think it was fine when they had something like Galio Rise, where Doomby could dictate the pace of the game, globally speaking as well. Teams have just been banning him. No Galio, no Rise. Banning away the Annie as well, because it's another engaged champion. They had a very good get series versus Knights. NIP were quite unlucky to not walk away with the game versus them, actually. Decent CC on Xiaohuanga. Maybe should have E'd a little earlier there. Wanting to save his mobility, I suppose. Hang on a second. W's through this one. Yeah, it's very hard to pick up in the Fury. One of the reasons she works as a jungler, despite being an assassin archetype, which typically doesn't work in pro play that well. Same with Akali, right? Very hard to pick them both off. They can play defensively, which most assassins can't. Aki jumps over the wall. Aki, my friend, you don't have flash. Doesn't have any HP afterwards. What has Aki just done? Jumps over and dies for some raptors. A jump forward to leave, blowing his flash too. He'll be wondering how the hell he found himself in that position. Teleport now coming through from Silas. Maybe solo kill coming as well. Where's the rest of the team? Hoya coming in. Ultimate Brawl Ultimate's not bad there, actually, but here comes the Scion. That could be a bit of a problem with the fourth shot. Flames on back. Fight continues. Scion not getting that much done, but the flick back, oh, that'll help a little bit more. And Scion is into the fray. I don't think you got enough damage to deal with that, Beefcake. Setup, keep charging up those Qs that goes around. And Derby, you've tried hard. You got so far, but in the end, it will not matter at all. Oh no, the lyrics were wrong, and NIP's composition was too. Inhibitor will fall, and this is all off of Aki jumping into Raptors. All of this is about Aki jumping into Raptors without his flash. He'll be up again now, but the damage is done. Inhibitor's down. 1xN still has ultimate. Probably taking down a tower. One of them's gone. So, my dude, that is a lot of damage from the Zaya. You can't walk into that guy. Flash away now from Aki. Would have liked that one at the Raptors. Not able to do so. Has an E. It's just not going to save him again. It's not going to save him again. Aki ending at 2 and 7. In the aspect of war, he's been really unsuccessful in his ventures. TT will 2-0 NIP. It won't change their standings in Group Ascend, but it's nice to break the loss streak. With this, TT secure a 2-0 head-to-head versus NIP. It won't mean anything, but they beat them twice within a Group Ascend, which will feel nice for them. I don't get what Aki was doing there. I don't get what Aki was doing. Questions upon questions. Well, that was our last series of regular season for LPL. We've now covered an extra... God, how many games were there? Let me have a check. How many games have we